How's it going, everyone? The Trout91 here, back for It's in the Baggies. This is my West Brom playthrough on Football Manager 2018. In the last episode, I laid out all the prospects and potential signings, as well as some useful free agency you might want to pick up yourself if you're starting a new save. Obviously, the game comes out today, so if you're looking for a few new players to bring into your side who aren't going to cost you much money, maybe you're sitting in that lower tier of the Premier League, or even maybe for the Championship, there are a lot of really useful signings in the previous episode that you can use. I'm going to head forward and start to maybe pick up some of those. Well, we are going to pick up some of those signings today. So the first thing we find is that Vucinic has had a few contract offers sent to him. So I wanted to know how my scouts got on with judging his ability. Just check he is as good as I think he will be. He is a very good striker. I have to say, almost at some points better than Rondon. I say maybe technically a bit better than Rondon, but his physical and mentals are not quite as good as his age has gotten on. I think he's also been criticised of being a bit lazy in the past, but I think he's a great backup striker, third choice striker behind Rondon and Rodriguez. Sandfield has had a loan offer to go to Derby, which is nice. We want to get him as much first-team football as possible, see if we can build him up coming into the later years if we continue this save onwards. Tagliafico has had an offer put in from Roma to sign him on a free in January, and I really don't want that to happen, so we're going to try and offer him a contract. We also find out Bournemouth have made a bid for John Flanagan, so we need to act on him if we're going to pick him up. We also see Silvio has had a few offers after looking at his stats. I decided I could do a bit better. He's okay, probably a good Championship fullback, but not really as good that I think I could pick up for what I have probably available out there. Boue is also signed for a new club. I didn't add him to my shortlist, so I didn't actually know he was going to go. We played a friendly against Zulte Waregem, I think is how you say it. 4 different goal scorers. Matt Phillips getting on the score sheet first, followed by Solomon Rondon. Jay Rodriguez getting the third, and Mr. Oliver Burke following up as a substitute appearance with the 4th. We got the scout reports back from Sturaro. We would be looking at about 6 million to bring him over to the club, which is actually a good amount of money for how young he is, the ability he has, the potential ability he might have. Looks like a good deal to me. Whether we need him, I'm assessing my options at the moment and what we have available. We also got the scout report back for Perrin, who I tried to work down in price. Genoa wanted about 11.5 to start with. I managed to work it down to 10.25 collectively, which is quite nice. I saved $1,025,000. And I'm quite surprised they let him go for that price, considering his age. He's still got some ability to grow into, I think, as well. And he's their first team keeper, so that was quite interesting, if I'm honest with you. So if you're looking for a good keeper out there, I know keeper prices seem to be inflated in Football Manager, but he's a very good keeper to get in at this point in time. The offer was accepted, and we submitted a contract of 57k a week for Storaro and 41k for Perrin. I put in a bid for Flanagan for 12.1 million, which was finally accepted. Since I couldn't get Tagliafico on a free, I submitted a transfer of 1.1 million to bring him in sooner rather than later. I think if I had got him in January, I could have lasted until then with what I had, but because Monaco are coming in on January, I want to see if I can actually bypass that and pick him up instead. Flanagan accepted a contract of 49,000 a week. We had a bunch of other loan deals for Sandfield come in, which is really good as well. Tagliafico accepted a contract of 35,000, which is all nice. Looks like we might beat Monaco there. We then played a friendly against Zenit St. Petersburg, and well, they Shatov on us. And that's funny because their guy, Shatov, scored goals for them. Yeah. We were terrible. It would have been nice to see if we played well and how we might have played against a really good team, but we were just terrible from the off, and it was all very one-sided, which I was a bit disappointed in. Matej Perrin confirms his transfer to West Brom, and our first signing is in the Baggies. Whee! There you go. You were expecting me to bring that line out at some point. There you go. He's a great keeper, still lots of potential to grow at 24 years of age. I think that's a solid bit of business for us. Obviously, Ben Foster's getting on a bit. He's not really going to be our first keeper for much longer, I don't think. Sandfield confirms his loan move to Derby for the season. Tagliafico, unfortunately, snubs us, which is absolutely gutting because I think he was great. It would have been a tiny bit of business how young he is, his ability. I think he still has room to grow as well. Would have been very cheap, so I was a bit disappointed to see him go, but if Monaco are picking him up, I must have been onto a pretty decent deal there. Vucinic, unfortunately for me, he needs a work permit in order to move to West Brom. Stefan Storaro's transfer is finalised and completed. I'm happy with the signing purely because he is a well-rounded midfielder. He's young, still a bit of growing to do. Sits nicely with Perrin on the social side. Those both being Italian, they can work together in fitting in. Plus with the likes of Jakob, Gareth Barry, and I can't even pronounce his name, can't even remember how to do it. I'm going to call him Greg, the Polish guy from PSG. He's reaching the end of their careers. Obviously, Polish guy is going to disappear at the end of the season, so bringing in someone like Storaro as a permanent replacement is a good bit of business for 6 million. He's very well rounded, can play a bit of everywhere in that midfield spot, so I'm looking forward to bringing him in. We also put in a bid for Lucas Lima just to see what we could get for him. It wasn't a serious bid really, because I think I'm running out of money at this point. We may follow through with it if the offer is right and it looks good to me, but we have got a lot of midfielders at the moment. Maybe it's a bid we come back to in January or maybe next summer, depending on how we're getting on. Michiel was kicking up a fuss about bringing in a new keeper. He was like, oh, I'm not going to get any game time. So I was like, you know what, mate? See you later. I'll take the money from Palace. See you later, mate. Have fun on the bench. Another friendly came up against KV Mechelen in what was quite a close game. I was surprised how difficult we made it for ourselves, and it ended 2-2 in the end. Our Lucas Lima offer was rejected. He wasn't that much more than I had originally offered. We had the Flanagan transfer wrapped up and ready to go, and I didn't have enough money in a transfer budget. Obviously, I put it towards Perrin and Storaro. I know I really do need fullback options, but I had to cancel the signing because I didn't have enough money. I don't even think I could have raised enough money, and if I had, I would have lost out on a lot of different players that I could probably get more benefit out of than a right back. And Flanagan's good, don't get me wrong, but I think in the end, Nyom's still a great right back. His physical suggests that he's at 30 years old, he's still got a good few seasons in him at the ability he's playing at. If we wanted to go for a new fullback that's going to replace him, we can do that later on when it's not such a big deal in getting some of the other places secured. I think right now, because we do have such a good right back to start with, getting in a replacement fullback if he gets injured or needs a rest is probably the better idea. We started our pre-season tour of Singapore, a place I just went to recently actually. Very nice place, very hot, very humid, uncomfortable kind of humid. If you're going there, I don't think you need to spend too long there, but it is a nice place to go to. Very expensive as well. So if you're looking for a good time beering, that's probably not the place to go. I looked to seek out a cheap backup fullback, and I thought Zuniga was a good option just because he plays left and right back. Not the best of stats. He's obviously played for Watford in recent times, so I thought he's probably going to be good enough to play in the Premier League. But my lord, the wages he wanted, 70-odd K just to be a fullback backup. Like, I was not having it. I could not invest in that. Even if he was cheap transfer-wise, that is just pissing money up the wall. We went on to play 2 matches after this in our pre-season tour. The first game we won 2-0 very comfortably, and then the second match we also went on to win 2-0 again very comfortably. Now, a little bit of gutting news is Jake Livermore's injured, which is a blow because he's one of our more attacking options in that centre midfield spot. So I went out and tried to pick up a loan player since I didn't really have much money left. We looked into getting Emerson Hindman from Bournemouth on loan, which was immediately accepted. He's obviously a young player and lots of potential to grow. He's got some okay stats. I think if we needed him as a rotational option, maybe in a cup game or a match that doesn't really matter, he can do that. The worst case scenario, he does have to come on. He's not the worst player to have in the squad. It just gives us a little bit more security as far as that option goes. But we also had Vukanic's work permit turned down. Now that hurt me a lot because he was the #1 transfer I really wanted to get in going into this season. But it has been rescheduled, so fingers crossed that he manages to turn that one around. I'm not sure how that's going to work, but there you go. We also looked at Lise Mousset loan. Obviously, if Vucinic doesn't come in, we will need someone to be a backup striker in a worst-case scenario. He fits the bill pretty nicely. We then had a friendly that ended 0-0, so I'm not even going to show you what happened in that one. There was nothing to watch. Emerson Heinemann, after that match, joins for us, so we've reached our limit on loans. Obviously, you can only have 2 loan players in your squad in the Premier League. We then lost a friendly 1-0, which was a bit disappointing. Just didn't really get going. There wasn't much of a highlight in it. It was just they scored, and that was pretty much the end. Now, we got to our right-back options, and I had been searching high and low for good options. I was panicking a little bit that we might not find anyone. I think all the good options and the realistic options were out the window at this point. So we had 3 of them, all of a similar age, all similar stats, all similar ratings, but with different fees. Some of them were more expensive than others. Some of them wanted better contracts than the others. And when I compared them, it was Kubler, I think is how you say it, with the deal that made the most sense. I think he was only like 2 million or something as a bid. His wages weren't that expensive. His contract was pretty realistic as well. 24 years of age, still a small amount of growing to do. I think for a backup right back, that's a pretty good deal. The other 2, I made sure that deals were put in place for them in case Kubler, you know, like snubbed me or someone else snubbed me or whatever. But we ended up bringing him into the team. We then drew Plymouth in the Carabao Cup, which is a nice draw to get right off the bat. And we have also submitted an offer for Fabian Holland, which he's pretty much identical to Kubler, but obviously playing left back this time. And both of them being German means that socially they'll have someone to, you know, help fit in with at the club. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed the video. I apologise for it being a little bit late. I've had lots of things to do, and this was quite a bit long video. I wanted to get this preseason stuff out of the way so we can get into actual matches in the next episode. If you're enjoying, please do drop a like rating. I will see you for the next one. Peace out.